Hi, I'm Kelly at Book and Paper Arts, and today I have two new layouts in my latest altered book. These are process videos where I'm going to start with a blank page and work up layer by layer. I'm going to talk a lot about collage, about placement, and also just some mixed media whatnot. So if you like altered books, journal arts, and vintage books, paper, and other ephemera, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and you will have more of them in your life. Let's go alter a book. Normally, when I make an altered book in a hardback book, it has a lot of pockets. That's just my style. I am pocket mad. And that's because if you have pockets, then you can add more stuff to your stuff. You've got more room for ephemera, especially if you don't want to glue that ephemera down and you want to be able to take it out and play around with it. But this is not a hardback book. It is a booklet, with this paper cover. And I'm thinking that if I fill this thing up with pockets, it's going to put too much stress on the pages, and it's also going to throw off the balance of such a lightweight book. So I thought I might skip that part, except I can't. I have to add at least one pocket. I can't help myself. I further knew that I had to add a pocket when earlier this week I found this. I was in the secondhand bookstore and I found this book of butterflies. Now, I want to stop for a second before I make a pocket out of these butterflies and talk to you about finding images, because I get the comment over and over, well, that's fine and well for you, but where I live, we don't have that sort of stuff. Are you sure? Because it is true that I live in an old country. I live in Wales, and it's easier to find old paper. But I used to live and make pages when I lived in rural Tennessee and rural Mississippi. You find it less often, but if you look for it, you find it from time to time. What you want to do is every time you are in a secondhand bookstore or a thrift store or charity shop, or flea market, or wherever you do your secondhand shopping, take a moment and deliberately look. I went straight to the gardening section. Gardening is where you have your birds, your flowers, your butterflies, and if you've got a gardening section, check it out every darn time you walk by. So 8 out of 10 times, I don't find nothing. But this time I found this book, Butterflies. I've actually had this book before and cut it all up because I like this portrait format that the butterflies are in. My point being, open up your eyeballs, teach yourself to look for the good stuff. You may find it less often, but you will find it. What I did is I'm going to make this pocket from this half page of butterflies. It was similar to this, and all I did was cut around the edge of the wings and whatnot until I have the butterfly wings themselves are the edge of the pocket. I trimmed it to fit, and now I'm going to glue it on this side, here, and here, leaving this part open. I really like how this asymmetrical pocket, kind of cut on the diagonal here, lets this original text and stamping show through. Sort of a whimsical contrast. Over here, I have this tiny little invoice. And I love the fact that it is from a paper manufacturer in 1899. Collage. So I'm going to put this down here, maybe here. I like letting the Italian text show over the French text. It's going to be very très continental. But I'm not sure about the balance. Even though that's charming, I think the balance is going to be better here, which is also indicated by this border. So I'm going to put that there. Now I want to use that as a frame for another image. On a previous layout, I auditioned some tin types, and I still have a thing about that guy. And that does look good, especially because these really dark values in the tin type pick up the dark values with the stamping. Let's see if we move him that way. That's good. It's like a frame. I also have this lady. Now, this is on cardboard. It's a carte de visite from around 1880s-ish. And that is quite a dress. I love that. And I'm very tempted to put her here because it's just a nice small size. It's adding some embellishment, but she's not really engaging with anything else on the page, and it's static. That's not always bad, but I think I can do better. Now, I am so tempted to use this guy. I've had him around for a long time, and that is one formidable character. And I can't tell you how he's engaging, but it is certainly not static anymore. I also have this lady here. Now, although the tin type is very, very attractive, and we do have those dark values, I think that on balance, with this one that is on card, instead of the dark colors, the dark values, we have more of a sepia and a parchment color over here that's picking up the parchment color here, the parchment color there. Plus, there's just her expression, which now we definitely have a narrative. I'm not sure what it is, but we got one. She is not happy with these butterflies, and they best be going away because she's got this hat and she knows what to do with it. I don't know why. What's happened? That's the story. You tell me. I'm going to go with that. Glue it down. While I'm gluing, I'm also going to add this guy. He originally was part of the page, the way this one would go with these. And, of course, I had to cut away. But now I like adding that back in. And, of course, construction-wise, format-wise, it fits really well. A couple of things about this diagonal butterfly pocket. This book is smaller and this is more narrow. The space in the pocket is more narrow. So I want to pick images, tags, whatnot, that are narrow. And that's pretty delicate right there where those wings are the edge of the pocket. So I want images that are nice and clean. And like I thought about this one, this Victorian scrap from a calling card, but it's raised edges are going to catch up against these guys. Not this time. This is a nice solid card. It's from the 19-teens when, or maybe even a turn of the 20th century when blue photography was a thing. And even though it's very, very blue indeed, it is monochromatic in a way that suits the rest of the pages thematically. It also gives us a couple here, and that might explain The look on this young woman's face, like she's about to lose her darn mind. How dare you? It's the teens. I also have a couple of other cards. These are holy cards from, sorry, that's a calling card. This is a holy card made out of celluloid. And I told this story recently, but if you're new here, I have to tell you that I had some young people in the studio not long ago, and I showed them these cards, and they said, "What's celluloid?" Yikes. I'm getting old. There we go. Now, that looks really pretty. And those floral images complement the other florals that have been in this book previously. So I am liking that. This layout is going to start with this image of this cemetery angel. It's from a photograph that I took in Genoa in Italy last March, which is also where I bought this vintage bank book. It is printed on tissue paper. And my latest online class is about how to alter a board book. And in that class, I again use this image for the cover of this book, and I talk a lot about how to print on tissue paper and fabric in that class. So if you've been thinking about it, maybe that'll help you jump. Or you can look it up online. It's not that hard to find. I love printing on tissue paper because when you glue it down, it goes down translucent, which lets you see a good bit of what is underneath, and that gives you layer and texture and lots of interest to the eye. Now, I am going to, since the angel's gaze is coming straight forward, either side of this layout would be a good perspective-wise, but I have a tendency to put my heaviest focal points on the right-hand side of the book. That's just my style. But I thought that I'm going to make myself put a strong focal image over here on the left, and that will help balance the book out a little. I hope my head doesn't explode. I forgot to say that this cemetery angel and others are included in that online class as printable downloads. So there you go. I rough tore the edges of the tissue paper rather than cut them because I think that when that goes down, it's going to soften it a little bit and make it really sink back into that page. I am going to, this is very important if you are working with a tissue paper, either when you've printed yourself or a store-bought tissue paper. Don't even think about putting your glue on the image itself. It will end in a soggy mess and you will be sad. I know, I found out the hard way. Instead, I'm going to lightly go around the torn edges here with a light pencil, and that's going to give me a ballpark idea. And now I can take my glue. I'm using an acrylic gel medium, but you can also use a PVA or a Mod Podge or even a glue stick. And I'm going to put my glue here within the borders and then very carefully put the image down. I can't say enough about how good I think that is looking. It is a lot of image though, and now it's time to complement this and fix the layout. I need something over here that is robust enough to stand up to that. And before I even started, I kind of assumed it was going to be a big floral image that would fill up the page. And boom. And you know what? I was mistaken. I don't like that at all. I also thought that this one was going to look a little bit better. I thought we'd have kind of a lily feel going on, but we do not. Now, this one is getting closer because it does have that really boldness. And, you know, here it is which already looks pretty good. But if we turn the image and now turn it into something else entirely, it's as if this flower, okay, if I could trim it here, is opening up to the angel. And perhaps they're singing to each other, or it also has almost like a celestial feel, like it might be a sun that's rising. And thematically, that all works. We're getting closer. It's just a little too pink. But you see what happens here. If I have this magnolia kind of thing, it's also pretty that way. But if it's turned on its side, the same thing is happening. Although, I don't know why, for me, this seems less like it's they're singing together and more like this one is inquiring. Like, what? I need to check into this. I need to see what's happening. And it's a little bit closer because it's a mauve, which is close to purple. And for a long time, purple was associated with mourning. And again, in a very subtle way, that pulls the theme together, these two pieces together. But I am also tempted to do a black and white and grayscale layout. If you've seen the other videos for this book, you know that I've been rotating between black and white and color layouts. And this is a black and white page. So I have these holy cards, and these are from around the 1890s. And very tempted to use one of these. They're almost like a copperplate engraving. And this one opens up like a little booklet. And that is really tempting. Except, again, it's pretty, but I just feel like it's a little static. And sometimes that's okay, but we need some interaction here, or we're just going to have disconnected, big, bold, what images. Here's another one. This is done with paper lace, which is it's called dentelle, which is the French word for lace. So these holy cards are called dentelle. And that's working a lot better, partly because it's framed within the original grid here. I can move it there. No, it'd definitely be better there. Maybe there? No, there. That goes there. And also, while this angel to this point has seemed forbidding, as one might, I almost feel that when she's now looking at the mother and child, she's becoming more protective. So that forbidding aspect might be more of a guardian angel thing. So that's a possibility. And so is this one. This is also one of the very old dentelle cards, but you can see there's been a mishap, as often is the case with these. The lace is so delicate. But I actually don't mind that on this layout because this is distressed, and this distressed lace actually feels more right than the pristine piece. And you'll probably find that yourself when you're working with distressed images. So I am very tempted to go with that. Something like that. We'll see. I wanted to soften this up even more, so I messed around with a pile of stuff. And I've got this little ticket here that's got some stamping on it, which very much echoes the stamping that's originally on the page. So that's okay. I played with that one for a while, but it just doesn't feel right. It's too much up here, which is weird saying that, since now I feel that with this up here, it's way better balanced. And I'm trying to pull this within the grid that's already there so that I can use that as a little extra embellishing. And I'm pretty tempted with that. But then I also had, I've been thinking about the flowers. I had this small one, very small, very dramatic. And it is from Mr. Marshall's Flower Book. And even though I said black and white, it's my book. I can add some marigold and red if I want to, and I do. I'm going to glue that down. Sometimes when I embellish a page, I add charcoal. I go around all of the focal points with charcoal and then smudge. It really makes your images pop. But I don't think that's really best for this page. It's got a lot going on already. But I do feel like I want to add a little bit of definition here where these cards meet. So I'm just adding some charcoal pencil lines on those borders. I'm not even going to pull that down. I'm just going to smudge that a bit. And so now pretty much all I've done is just add a little, almost like mark making, some contrast there that emphasizes but also contrasts and complements these black ink stampy parts all throughout. This book is filling up. I've still got 4 layouts plus the inside covers and the front and back covers. So at least 2 more videos working in this book. If you missed it earlier, I have free printable versions of these stamped vintage book bank book pages, and they're on my website. You can find the link to that in the text box below this video. You can also find the link to the ephemera boxes that I sell, and they have old photographs, holy cards, invoices, and a truckload of handwritten stuff. So check out those ephemera boxes, and also please check out my online classes. You're going to find all of that below this video in the text box. If you have any feedback or any questions, please let me know in the comments below. I love to compare notes. Until next week, happy making.